Hello, this is Robert Martinez, robertphotographics.com. I'm just here to show you really quick the different types of plugins that I use from Topaz. And I do use all kinds of plugins, and I do use Topaz plugins in particular a lot, especially when it comes to stylizing my photos. Now, please forgive me because I am a little sick, so I might sneeze or cough a little bit, but I'll try not to do that. So in this photo, this is a steampunk session photo shoot, and for this one I use Topaz Adjust 5, and that one would be this product right here, which is like I think their best ever plugin of all. If I had my choice, this would be it, but all the other ones, they're really awesome too. And what I did was I used it to give it texture. I also used the Topaz Adjust 5 night setting, and then I brought up the opacity in Photoshop, and then I masked it off the model. So yeah, that one was, and I also use Topaz Star Effects for this here to give it a little bit of a glare effect. This image I use Topaz Simplify. Simplify is pretty awesome. There's all kinds of effects you can do on there, and I love the way this gives it a kind of comic book type of feel to it. And so I kind of play with the effect, and then you can adjust it, however you want. And then let me go over here to that product from Topaz, and it's right here. So yeah, create paintings, sketches, watercolors, cartoons, and more. Make your art uniquely personal instead of using cookie cutter filters. Excuse me. So yeah, it's really cool. It has all kinds of presets. You can make your stuff look like a drawing, like artwork. It's really awesome. I tend to use it a lot because I like to do kind of stylistic type of photos and stuff like that. So let me go back to the other photos. Just have a few more. Excuse me. This one I kind of went all out. This is actually, I shot this in the daytime, but then I used the Topaz Adjust night effects filter. And I also used some flare. At the time, actually Topaz Star Effects was not out yet, so I believe I might have used Photoshop for that. But the rest was stylized with using Topaz, and also in Photoshop and Lightroom. This is just a plain alley scene, but I kind of decided to give it some atmosphere by including some foggy effect to it, and I used Topaz lens effects. And let's go and check it out real quick over here. So here's lens effects. You can see, excuse me, all the different types of filters that they have: diffusion, color filters, motion blur, creative blur. It's pretty fun. It's like a whole bunch of like fun filters to have. So I really love that using this one as well. Topaz lens effects. Of course, I use Adjust 5 as well. I usually use Adjust 5 for most. Some of these are all HDR, but when I do HDR, excuse me, I usually just run them through and just kind of keep them neutral, where I don't go crazy with the stylization within the software that I use. I'd rather do that in the plugins like Topaz. And then here's a stylistic one I did with a model, and then you can tell I use Topaz Simplify, and I also use Star Effects for the little glare right here. And then in the background, if you look, it looks pretty kind of painterly, kind of like fantasy, like the colors and stuff like that. So yeah, for this one I use Topaz Star Effects and Topaz Simplify, along with probably Topaz Adjust as well. And here's a more recent one I did. Here I put in these light sources, some dots of white in Photoshop, and then I went into Topaz Star Effects to give it that. I played with different types of settings that they have on there, and I liked this setting the most. That gave me this effect. So yeah, this is a stylized photo as well. And this one also, this is a HDR. Excuse me. This one was stylized using Topaz Adjust 5. This one as well, it's HDR, and again, it was stylized using Topaz Adjust 5, Lightroom, and Photoshop. And this one as well. This is a old church interior. We couldn't really get inside. You know, it was kind of where it's in a campground, but it was closed off. But I managed to put my camera through a screen door, and I shot off a few exposures, and then I, processed it in Photomatics, and then I stylized it in Topaz Adjust 5, and then also Photoshop and Lightroom. And I believe that's the end of the my quick show on how I use some of the Topaz products. I do use all the other ones as well. That all the other lines of the Topaz products. I don't have Clarify yet, or Clarity. I'm sorry, but that's one I plan to get to soon. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope this gave you some ideas on how to use the software. Maybe in the future I'll do a how-to on how I actually use the software, while I'm actually using it. A quick demo on a photo, and try to use as many Topaz filters as I can for the one shot that I can pick one where I can use the most software, and then that way you can see how you can get the most out of it. All right, thanks for watching.